Again, that hasn't been the case. The Tea Party movement and the energy that was developed out of that, Americans for Integrity in Government, as a board member, I watched this and got to spend time with the Dallas Tea Party people that did a wonderful job and built an organization that I believe is somewhere over 20,000 members now. Put together a coalition group that we were privileged to be a part of, a small part, but a part of that, called Common Sense and Citizens, so that conservative individuals could come together and have an impact in the government. The reason that these things happened is because they did not feel like they had a voice or a say in the Republican Party. And they were concerned about the direction that the Republican Party was going. But the majority of those folks that are involved in this are Republicans and have voted Republican. Some are independent, very few Democrats that are involved in it, but some. But they said, we don't know who we can trust, and so we're going to come out and we're going to do something about it ourselves. As a Republican Party, if we allow a third party to get started, we will ensure Democratic victories and liberal victories for the next 20 years. Because the vote will be split between conservative groups. The Republican Party has to be a vehicle of conservative values that's energized by the Tea Party movement. And that energy that's there amongst the grassroots of this country needs to be plugged in to the Republican Party. We need to stand firm on our values and on our platform, and we need to move forward as the party that Ronald Reagan envisioned. I would challenge many of you to go back and take a look at the 1975 CPAC speech by Ronald Reagan. Because he faced, at that time we faced one of the same dilemmas that we face now with the Republican Party, where he said that the Republican Party has blurred the lines of its stand. These pastel colors are meaningless to individuals. He said we have to stand on the bold, bright colors of conservative principles and values. And that's exactly what we have to do today. One of the ways that I envision us doing this as a Republican County Chairman, number one, is working together as a team. The county party is bigger than one individual, and it's certainly bigger than the chairman. It will take a group of individuals willing to come together to put a mechanism in place that we do not have now to make our precinct chairman's positions meaningful and structured, so that they can get involved inside their precincts, sign up individuals to get involved where we have neighborhood captains, or when we have issues come up, we can get these issues to our precinct chairs, which are these folks, constituents inside the precinct's neighbors, get that information in their hands through social networking so that they can act, or social networking so that they can act on those things. We have to be about getting true facts and information about issues that are going on in our government in Washington, in Austin, and in the county. It's our responsibility to gather it, to speak the truth about it, not rhetoric, to get it out to the voters so that they can be educated and let them take the course of voting things in or voting out according to the values that we all stand for, the conservative principles that are the Republican Party. These are some of the things that we have to do. As a Republican Party, we have to be better at fundraising here in the county. Our party ended up with only $500 carryover from June to July. That's just in a year when the country was energized over what was happening in Washington, D.C., we ended up with only $500. At the end of this year in December, as a party, we had taken in only $3,500 in cash contributions during that time. A very small war chest to go into 2010, which is going to be one of the most pivotal elections in our country's history. People want to see action from the Republican Party that's positive, that means something, and when they see that, they will be willing to support the Republican Party. We will be able to build funds so that when we secure conservative victories here in this county, we can also go out and have an impact in races like Steve Pierce in New Mexico, who is a conservative that needs to get elected to give Randy Nagelmeyer help in Washington, D.C. We need to have such an impact locally, which is number one, that it flows down to Austin, which is our number two responsibility for impact on conservative values, and from Austin all the way to Washington, D.C., and in the process remove this administration with their socialist agenda and replace it with true Americans that have true American conservative values. It's a lofty goal and a big picture, but that's really what it's about. And we need everyone's help and everyone's participation. As your Republican County Chairman, if so elected, this is the vision that I have. The goals, I've heard some say that, man, that could never be done. But you know what, I'll tell you what we do in retail that I've been involved. When we put out numbers and objectives and somebody tells us that they can't be hit, we believe them. And we remove them and we get somebody in that believes it can be done. And I think that's the point that where we're at now. So I thank you for your time. I ask you for your vote.